back to the Fourth Estate Militia Actual Play. What would you do if you came back to the home you fought tusk and nail to build, only to find it surrounded by the enemy? Maybe you would call it a loss and leave, maybe you would even try to negotiate. But if you're the red wires, of course you would ask, can I jump the truck into the treehouse? It's time to begin episode 87, A Giant Eyeball, like a giant eagle eyeball.
Yes!
You've got it. Now you just need the rockets. And I think you still need heavy weapons to use it.
Oh, no, I have heavy weapons.
Oh, do you? Okay. Didn't realize that.
I've invested in that skill for a while now, and I wanted to get into it. I have a rocket launcher spec.
I hope getting 4 successes on 19 dice is a signal of how this is going to go on my end.
We'll see.
So wait, would these be missiles? I assume these would be missiles that have to go into the...
Yes, it has to be a missile.
Okay.
Yeah, the anti-vehicle, if you hit like a vehicle, it's 24p, AP minus 10. Hit a person, it's AP minus 4.
Because people are less susceptible to missiles than cars.
You know, it makes sense. Don't worry about it.
How many can I order at a time?
We'll say up to 100,000 yen. You
Okay.
can get that within a week.
Oh yeah, that's plenty. Yeah, pretty much all my expenditures lately have been little stuff for the team bunkers.
Okay, just read this
Okay.
through. Rockets are line of sight only. Missiles are the ones that can be indirect fired. So if you want to do
There we
indirect
go.
fire, you have to spend the extra for a missile.
Yes, please.
And it increases availability. And if you're wanting anti-vehicle missile, it's actually supposed to be 22F.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, missile increases the availability by +4. And then the cost goes up by the sensor rating times 500.
Oh, good heavens.
It's almost like guided missiles or something the government wants to keep track of. I don't know why. For some reason.
This is true.
But you can just buy
Emma?
Anfo down at Lowe's. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Emma, could you help me get some more admin?
So what?
I need missiles.
You need what, girl?
Anti-vehicle missiles. You know? They
Yeah,
go-
as if it isn't enough to have one crazy chick living here that blows everything up. Now we got 2. Yo, I mean, end of days. Yo, I'm just saying. It's the end of days.
Now, do you want missiles or rockets, Juliet?
No, those are missiles, so yeah. I think you've rolled twice now. Yeah, that's done for. Ugh. So, Caleb?
Alrighty, rolling 13 dice. We'll see how that does against. Oh God, so many.
Can you edge?
I always feel weird about edging on downtime. Like I always feel. I don't know.
Yeah, go for it. I don't care.
All right.
I need
what else
it.
There's that.
I need it so much.
Well, do you want me to re-roll that whole thing as a pre-edge or just roll failures?
Just
All
roll
right.
failures, I
All
think,
right.
would be the best. Because that'll give us effectively like 20-something dice, and that'll be exactly the same number that is rolled.
I can keep all those. Not that it matters.
No!
Now, you could just go for rockets.
But laser guided!
True. I can't really argue against that logic.
You want me to roll for some rockets? I mean, it's better that than nothing. I don't have any contacts that would be able to get us missiles.
Let's go for high explosive.
You could also go for frag. Frag's quite a bit easier.
High explosive.
That's a negative.
Zap is able to get them.
What?
Ah! Hallelujah.
You mean the weapons dealer was able to get us weapons? What?
Oh, yes. This feels good.
I get a feeling I'm going to regret this.
It's only 10 high explosives. I mean, come on.
Okay, so we last left off with you guys more or less topping a hill and seeing bits and pieces of the treehouse being surrounded, or at least the parts that you could see over the highly urban and partially old industrial area of Redmond through here. You saw bits and pieces of Spider's vehicles surrounding it. So what do you guys want to do?
Well, Juliet wants to. Well, I mean, we're assuming that she doesn't have her heavy ordnance with her. What do we see of the spiders? Do they have vehicles? How many of them do we see in particular? Have they surrounded you completely yet? You said bits and pieces, so I'm assuming the perimeter is still poor.
Yeah, you were able to see. Well, you're able to see some. Like you have buildings and stuff blocking the full view of everything. You'd have to get closer to see more detail. Like right now,
Okay.
they don't really have a chance of seeing you. I mean, they could, but you're like half a mile away, 2/3 of a kilometer, that sort of thing.
I think I'm gonna go in. You know.
Yo! Before you go in, you want me to spend little Betsy?
Huh?
Yeah, we'll send little Betsy. She could like do a whatchamacallit, like a perimeter sweep or something, and then you could go in too.
Wait, yo, why don't we just check up that drone I got floating in the sky, yo?
Isn't it wired?
I've got some
Yes, it is.
people with me.
Yeah,
Is that enough?
there's a fiber op UCC just going up to the balloon.
Yeah, so can't we not do it wirelessly?
I had completely forgotten about that part. Well, never mind. We won't use my drone. Why don't we use little Betsy and let that little one do that perimeter check thing?
I mean, I'd rather use that because that's like being a giant eyeball, like a giant eagle eyeball. It's pretty whiz.
Yeah. I still need to go in to get my stuff though.
Well, get your stuff. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. And Juliet will hop out and start jogging toward the treehouse at this point. She is not waiting.
Guess we'll send the fly spy after her because we need a little info before we do our attack.
I'm assuming the fly spy is faster than her, so go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Horatio, would you mind giving me a stealth check?
But gladly.
If you guys have any sort of damage or anything, you could have used medkits and all that. So if you want to be healed, I'm gonna need to see some rolls.
All right. And so to heal physical damage and using a med kit, I can turn the med kit on wireless, add the rating of the med kit to my skill, if I remember correctly.
You could either add the medkit's rating to your skill or roll double the medkit's rating, whichever is higher.
Yeah, I only have an R3, so that'd be 6 dice that I can't edge.
But then one thing to remember: if you're doing it yourself, you're limited to. I want to say the successes equal to your
the number of ranks you have, and I only have one rank.
Yeah, I think it's only limited to your ranks. I'm sorry, go ahead, Worth.
Yeah, that one's the real killer.
I thought I had an R6, but I do not. But I do have this savior, so I'm going to use that.
The savior is basically strictly superior in almost every instance. Unless you have someone who has like the 6 ranks, full doctor spec, all the qualities, all that shit. Savior is OP. Nanate's OP.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, it's like an EpiPen.
That's what's ridiculous about it. So you could have like a whole vest full of these things.
So it's basically a stim pack from Fallout.
Basically, yeah. You spend a couple grand on the pen, and then it's like $200 for like the little charge cartridge that you slip in it or whatever.
It's even cheaper than an R6 because of that in the long run.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Well, I was not smart, and I did not buy one of those, so I'm going to let my.
I mean, granted, if you have like a place to do medical checks and somebody who knows how to do it, a med kit is better. But that's pretty rare for runners, so.
So, Kendall, you don't get anything.
Nope. It tells me, you messed up, boy.
Rip.
It would have been good enough to stabilize you, but yeah, you don't need stabilized.
Do you need
drugs for?
Do you need some stim patches or anything?
No, everything I have is physical. I took 7 boxes of physical in that fight.
Yeah, same.
Are you sure it's limited to the ranks of first aid?
Yep.
How? Okay. Well, okay. You know what? I'm gonna make sure we're healed up because I'm gonna edge the fuck out of this.
I think so.
I'm going to use edge. I'm going to, fuck that. I'll handle this because we need to be healed up for this. Right? Like, that's kind of important here. I just want to make sure because I put the 1 rank into that and I have super high logic. So.
Oh, and how are we on edge?
Yeah.
Do we recover edge for surviving the fight? Do we have full edge pools? Do we get bonus edge today?
You get 1 edge back.
Oh, okay. So I'm down a few. Okay. Well, the thing is, you guys being up is more important than me having all my edge for this, right? Like that, So is this first aid or medicine?
This would be first aid.
Okay.
Medicine is long-term treatment.
Yep, that's fine. All right. So I will. And do we have anything other than R3s, or is R3 the best we got?
All I have is an R3. I mean, if we have a way to swing by the medkit store, I will happily buy an R6. Well then.
Okay, I was just. I'm sorry. I was just reading over it. It says nothing about the ranks of your first aid skill.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that was just like a runner hub thing then, because that's what I was told when I made my very first character.
It could be one of the many, 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 many weird rules out of missions.
Yeah, it's probably a missions thing because I don't see it in the core rule book.
Okay.
That was why we got rid of missions, because missions is whack.
Okay.
Oh, no, I just found it. The maximum damage healable with the first aid skill is equal to the skill's rating. But you pre-edged it, so it's not a deal. You have no limit.
All right. So that's 1. And is anyone else at super damage?
Nope. Julia came out on scratch.
What about her ratio?
I used my savior, so.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll spend that edge and I'll do some crazy good medical work.
Well,
it's fine. I'm not putting poison in you. Don't worry about it. I'm real good at this. Trust me.
Just remember, I'm the one that always tries to keep you alive. All right.
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I need you to be good.
Am I going to explode now?
No. Well. I mean, not for me.
I don't even know how to take that, but thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry, you know something's wrong when you have to specify that you're not going to blow up from you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if someone tosses a nade at him or shoots him with a rocket, I mean, that's not me, right? So,
Yeah, we don't want improv to be a liar. Come on.
Yeah, that wouldn't be cool.
Well,
She's not omniscient.
I will say, the moment we see what's going on, I'm going to take my riot shield in the back of the truck, and I'm going to strap it to my arm, and I'm going to put on my ballistic mask. And because it might be time to do something stupid, I'm going to take that huffer of kamikaze that I keep for those just in case, oh my god, knight errant's here kind of moments. And I'm going to keep that close at hand in case I have to roll a little drug interaction, because I'm still high on Nova Coke.
Cram.
Horatio, jumping back to your fly spy, as you're flying it over, nobody appears to have noticed you. At least no one starts shooting at you. The first thing that you see outside of, like, around the edges of the treehouse being surrounded, you're kind of getting flashbacks to when Plushy had come through. The drone that you guys have floating, that you normally have floating above everything, it's gone. It's just not there anymore. And as you're flying, like, do you fly over the treehouse? Do you fly around, stay low to the ground? How do you handle this?
We're going to do a triangle. So, because we saw on TV that triangles are the most efficient shape, for any kind of a search pattern. So we're going to do a triangulation pattern over and around the treehouse.
Okay. How are you staying up?
Probably about. I mean, we need to be low enough to the ground to see them. And if I'm remembering right, most of the buildings around here were like 1 to 3 stories. Is that?
Yes. Most of them are very similar to the treehouse. The treehouse is the tallest of the buildings around here. Most of them, don't come up that high, but they are fairly large. You guys have had quite a few squatters staying in the surrounding area.
All right, so we'd be in around the 3 to 4 story mark, because that way we can potentially see if there's like snipers or like little hidden bands around the corner or whatever.
Okay. What's the drone slave to? If it's slave to anything.
Probably my deck.
Yeah.
What, you don't want to rely on Rapper?
Nah.
All right, Improv, could you please make me a Logic plus Lease check?
Hey. I'm good with that.
Okay. In the search pattern that you go over, nothing appears to stand out. It looks like the building or the walls that you guys have set up in the no man's zone is being completely kept clear by the spiders.
Okay.
And as you pass over, the entire treehouse isn't fully surrounded. There appears to be out one of the two entrances that you guys had built for this. There appears to be like a gap in the circle around where you guys are that you could potentially use to flee into a nearby building if need be.
So you're telling me their forces are split up between two separate areas?
It's more like a horseshoe.
All right. Is there anything that I could use as a ramp to jump over our wall and
Huh.
get into the treehouse? Right? Because I think there's basically two things we can do. We can either gun it in and try and fight all these guys outside, which is going to be a thing, and we won't have any backup other than, whatever they can send out. Or we can try and regroup with our guys and then support them strategically. And I think that's the better way to go about it.
But like if you look at Juliet's box, kind of made a basic little drawing. They've just kind of horseshoed around it, but a building that's across of y'all's dead man zone, there appears to have been a gap left, or they're using that as like more of a natural barrier where they don't have to cover as much ground.
Now, are they actively firing on the treehouse, or have they just taken up positions around it?
Currently, it looks like they're just taking that it's just more or less pot shots. Things looks like they have stalemated, or that they're trying to figure out what they want their attack to be. You see the occasional bits of trace around fire coming from the treehouse, the occasional little pot shot or something at somebody inside. A grenade will go off here or there. Looks like things have slowed down or come to a standstill. Now, do you focus, Horatio, do you focus like your search pattern just on the treehouse, or do you go past it, around it?
No, we're sticking on the outside because we need to know what the sieging forces are. That's the most important.
Now, would you draw me a triangle of like how you're going around it, like around the treehouse itself, because that could reveal some information. Okay, yeah, along the south side here, when you come over that taller building, you notice like out in the distance, you see the occasional smoking wreck of various cars. A lot of them, several of them appear to be ones that are decorated similar to this how the spiders are now. A handful of the cars that are here, not all of them, but a handful appear to have had some sort of damage or some sort of explosive go off fairly close by. And if you look inside, you actually see that prowlers that you guys have, all three of them from the Outriders do appear to have made it inside.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Is there a rear means of access into this building? Like, I don't want to go into the treehouse and then go south into it, but like, is there a way to approach from the south and make it into the building unseen?
Make me a navigation check. This could be teamwork.
Juliet's not present. Sorry, fella.
Well, let's hope that's not indicative of the rest of my rolls tonight.
Well, it's not a glitch.
I tried .jpg.
No, it's decent enough. Yeah, as you guys are going over, there, and from what you guys have gathered, it actually should have given you a bonus here for this. There does appear to be a way that you would be able to sneak in there. It would be really hard in the gopher that you guys have. You're going to go through a lot of the buildings themselves, occasionally duck through an alley here or there. But you do think that you could make your way there just without the truck.
All right.
No, we can't do that.
No,
I can't leave my baby.
Oh. No.
And
Fair.
And you asked about being able to ramp into the treehouse. You guys specifically had made sure to have a fairly large no man's land
Yeah.
around the treehouse, so no. I mean, if you if you were going at like 200 or 300 kilometers per hour, sure, but have fun landing that without dying.
No, that's fair. That's perfectly fair. I guess. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to use the truck.
All right, so maybe I should stash it somewhere.
Mr. GM, question for you, sir. Might I roll either small unit tactics or, oddly enough, leadership to try to discern where the leaders of the spiders are located on this battlefield? Like what in my opinion, based on either small unit tactics or on just having so many ranks in leadership, where I think they might actually be.
Do you have any sort of gangs knowledge?
Yes, I do. For Seattle street gangs.
All right, roll that along with. This isn't really small units tactics. This is. These guys have come out in force here, so this would be more, I guess, leadership. But you have to be rolling leadership at a minus. We'll say at a -2,
Okay.
and then taking your Seattle gangs knowledge as a bonus. So your base leadership.
And that'd be 4 hits.
You're only able to spot 1 or 2 guys. They don't seem to be super important, but they're the ones that seem to kind of be directing guys of like, hey, go over in this area, watch this spot. More like boots on, like leaders of the guys who are actually the boots on the ground versus
So more of a sergeant
like in
rather
sort of
than a
high command.
captain.
Yeah.
Well, I will indicate them to Juliet. Just because.
Ooh.
No, I ain't saying eat their brains yet, but you might want to tie the bib around your neck and get the hot sauce ready.
Mm-hmm. I'm on it.
And then, Arisha, do you check any of the nests that you have, like for your snipers or anything? See if they're there, or do you guys just kind of leave that alone?
I mean, I know they're there.
You know they're there. Is that
That's
what you
right.
said? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Train those boys right.
All right, so Juliet, you headed out somewhat on your own, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What's your plan?
Remind me what the green indicates?
Oh, the green was Horatio's search pattern.
What direction did we come from?
Northeast.
She would originally be making a beeline for a high point to spot as many people as she can. But once Kennel indicated the 2 boots on the ground leaders, she would alter direction for them and see how well she can arrange it so that she has line of sight on them both and to figure out how to drop them both at the same time. Or go quietly, who knows. Would you like a sneaking test just to get close and then perception to figure out if she can figure out who is where near those 2 leaders?
Give me a navigation, potentially find a decent route, and then sneaking as well.
One moment.
And Mr. GM, since microtransceivers are basically like little handheld radios, and we have to pre-program the frequencies we operate on, do I hear any chatter on the preset frequencies we use for our sniper nests? Since I'm assuming we taught them to stay, matrix dark, otherwise a trace icon gives away, exactly where they are.
Yeah, if you flip over to it, they're obviously not like talking out loud because microtransceivers have subvocal mics. You can hear the telltale signs of people communicating through subvocal.
On.
All right.
All right, Juliet, give me a sneaking test at a -4.
Will do.
Oh, good roll. So you're able to pick your way through, having to take a couple of risks that you don't really want to take, having to cross the open street, duck through some areas that you're probably going to make some noise, but surprisingly enough, you make it through all right. You end up ducking into one of the old industrial buildings here, and as you're working your way through, most of the squatters in here have either bunkered down and hidden themselves as best they can, or they're just gone. The few that you see are the ones that are either completely strung out or they're just too sick to really give a frag and don't want to move. But you are able to get yourself to a decent enough position where you can get an eye on at least one side of the opposition.
So I was looking at timestamps while digging this audio out of cold storage, and I realized something shocking about this session, this finale to our long campaign. We played this game, this particular game, a year and a half ago. A full 18 months have passed since we played this session, and I still remember everything that happened. I also still play with the guys from the Red Wires. It's pretty cool how playing some nerd shit RPG can result in real friendships. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.